Hello, it is your Astro Coach Sarah here for Wellness Astrology, this time for the moon in Leo. This is the actual first quarter square moon. That Cancer moon might have felt like a first quarter square moon, but it's not. So this is when the moon squares the sun. So the sun moves through a sign, and it takes 30 days-ish to move through one sign, whereas the moon takes about 2.5 days to move through a sign. So it covers all the signs and the time that it takes the sun to get through one sign. So that's how we end up with the quarter moon squares, the full moon, and the third quarter moon square. So this is the first quarter moon square after the new moon we had in Taurus on April 27th. So this is the halfway point between the new moon and the full moon that we will have on May 12th in Scorpio. And if you want to know your sun and rising signs for that, the video is over on my YouTube. And of course, you can always schedule a meeting with me and get a chart reading and all of that going on. So this moon in Leo, this is May 3rd through the 5th, and Mars will be coming out of his post-retrograde shadow, and Pluto will be stationing retrograde. What does all that mean? So many of you are probably familiar with planets going in retrograde, but what the retrograde shadow time is, we often talk about a pre-retrograde shadow and a post-retrograde shadow. And so Mars was moving right along and he got to 17 degrees Cancer. This was back in October of last year. Yes, October of 2024. He got to 17 degrees of Cancer. That began his pre-retrograde shadow. He then moved to 7 degrees of Leo on December 6th and stationed retrograde. He retrograded back to 17 degrees of Cancer, and now he's been moving forward since February 23rd through the rest of Cancer and into Leo. So that's why we call it the post-retrograde shadow. He's moving over degrees in the zodiac that he has already been through. This is his third pass. And so that's how we have had the triple hit of Mars opposite Pluto. We had one at the end at the 29th degree of Mars at 29 Cancer, Pluto at 29 Capricorn. Then we had it at 0 degrees of Leo and Aquarius, right? When Mars was going retrograde. And now we've just finished the third pass of Mars opposite Pluto at 3 degrees, Leo and Aquarius. So we're done with it for now. But that one was impressive because it happened in two different pairs of signs. And because of the retrogrades, we had different paces of each of those. And so now we're done with that. Through the month of April, we had the Venus North Node Saturn conjunction that lasted a whopping 21 days or so. And so you still might be processing or moving through energies from that Venus Saturn North Node conjunction in Pisces that was going on. And now we're into this third quarter square moon in Taurus season, with everything direct until Sunday when Pluto will station retrograde at 3 degrees of Aquarius. And honestly, many of us won't even notice Pluto stationing retrograde. Some people will if you have planets or points in your birth chart at 3 degrees of Aquarius or any of the fixed signs, meaning Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. If you have something at 3 degrees, you might feel it. So I'm starting to feel a little bit of Pluto's presence in Aquarius. Not yet. I've still got a year or so before it's going to start hitting my chart kind of hard, but that's okay. But most people won't notice. What we may notice is things in the world, because the outer planets sometimes often deal more with global events and things like that. And so I think this might be interesting with the church things that are happening. May the 4th be with you is a Star Wars thing, but may the force be with, well, May 4th is a rip on the May the Force be with you from Star Wars, but of course, that's also a reference to the Catholic Church peace be with you, the Lord be with you, all of those sorts of things. And so all I'm saying is like people may maybe we'll get their panties in a knot over May the 4th be with you. Could happen. I do think that this moon's going to be restless. It's going to trine everything in Aries. So Neptune, Venus, Mercury, and Chiron. It's going to trine all that stuff. And so there's kind of a lot of fire and air in the chart. Not a lot of earth and water to really balance things out. And so, as we have the two personal planets, meaning Venus and Mercury in Aries, and then Mars in Leo, that's your fire. The sun is in Taurus, which is Earth. That's literally our grounding right now, but it doesn't seem that way because we've got so much weight happening, weight, W-E-I-G-H-T, weight happening in fire signs, particularly Aries. And so, do take advantage of this moon in Leo, squaring the sun. Like this is, what came up for you during that new moon. That's now like there's some tension around it. There's some, uh, stuff you need to really take action on in order to make it happen. This may be another opportunity to really practice managing your energy. I feel like I'm going to start hearing more of people just overwhelmingly tired, overwhelmingly busy, overwhelmingly like not sleeping well. Pretty sure I said it for Virgo risings. You may have the, sleep disruptions with Mars and Leo. So I think it's going to be a fiery weekend. And since we're talking about fire and air, there could be potentially planet fires happening as things are starting to warm up. I feel like this summer is going to be really heated in both metaphysically or metaphorically and literally. I think the summer is going to be very heated because I think that people's tempers are heating up. People are getting uneasy, they're getting restless, they're getting scared, they're getting all of the things. And so, you know, I feel like some of this stuff is like I could be scared of a lot of it, but I'm not. I'm not. I'm just not. I'm like I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I'm aware of things that are going on, but I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of like any other time we've been through where we could be terrified, but like I'm just not. Um, so yeah. So I would say, I mean, take care of yourself, stay hydrated, make sure that you are not only drinking a lot of water, but adding electrolytes if you need to. This could also be a good time to get like your blood checked. I know I said that for Aries season, but because we still have a good amount of energy in Aries, it could still be a really good time to pay attention to your blood. And blood counts and blood pressure and all of those things could be important. Um, Seems to me, and I wish I could remember which year, but I thought it was like in 2023. Teal Swan often does like an annual overview of the general energy for the year. And I'm not too terribly invested in her work, but I do kind of like her little overviews. But I kind of thought in 2023, she started to mention that while the sun was going through its hot phase, which is what we're in right now, that we could have more issues with blood. And I don't know if anybody else has observed that in the people that they're around, but I have certainly been observing it for the greater part of the past year and a half, 2 years of people that I know having issues with some sort of something to do with blood. So just something to maybe keep an eye on, be attentive to, all of that. Oh, we got the page of starships in reverse. Wow. This is Data's daughter. Page of starships in reverse. This is the page of cups in reverse. Um, I mean, two things that we could say here that one, people are not addressing their emotions in a productive, constructive way. Two, um, people just have no compassion. And that was kind of what we thought we would run into with Neptune out of Pisces, and more is leaving Pisces, right? We're just a few weeks away here of Saturn leaving Pisces, leaving only the North Node in Pisces. When we had a lot of Pisces energy, we had more compassion because Pisces is the more compassionate sign. But now all of that stuff is in Aries, and Aries didn't give a fuck. So um like the whole like no one's coming to save you, no one's coming to rescue you, you don't get to play the victim anymore. Get your big girl pants on and get it together. And people could probably say that about me, but I don't know. I think sometimes I have bigger big girl pants than other people do. So there's that. Um because I'm all for being a responsible adult, but I'm also someone who doesn't believe we're meant to suffer in order to be a responsible adult. So there's that. But I do think that there's a difference between putting yourself in a situation where you're suffering and knowing what aligns and what makes you feel good in your skin. And not pursuing those things is not tolerable anymore. Um, we all have things we need to be doing, right? Let's see what else we get here. Um, okay, the Hanged Man upright. So something's still not, this is Lieutenant Barkley. Um, something is still not where you want it to be. Something's still not falling into place. You don't have the information. Um, wasn't there something like if you're not getting the all of the information and you're kind of waiting for it, like try a different oh gosh, I can't remember how it went. I think people tend to hold themselves in limbo or purgatory. Um, people tend to hold themselves in limbo waiting for an outside source, and I think that's what this is. You're waiting for information. You're waiting for an outside source to hire you. You're waiting for an outside source to contact you and give you information. um, and sometimes that's just necessary, right? Where we have to wait for, and you got to know that the timing is going to be okay regardless. But I also think there's times when like you're waiting, and the outside source outside of you source is not getting back to you, and you still need to proceed with what you need to do for you, right? So you maybe need to find a different resource. Well, I mean, this is Taurus season. Find a different resource. Um, and see how that goes. So let's see what we get in the Woodland Wardens. Do. We have the Finch and the Peach, and this is romance. Huh. Um, if I would have drawn the Lover's card, this would have made more sense, but I didn't draw the Lover's card. I drew the Hangman and the Page of Starships in reverse. So, therefore, oh, okay. So, has anybody ever read The Artist's Way? What was her name? Somebody. The Artist's Way. It's a 12-week like artists like experiment, if you will. Um, and then during that, the author encourages you to go on a weekly artist date where you go out and you do something that lights up your creativity. So whether it's you go play or you go to an art exhibit or you go to a museum or you go to an art store or whatever it is, go outside with your art medium and color or art medium and write or whatever it is, right? And so this is what this is. You need to get, and Leo is romantic. So Leo is romantic and Mars is in Leo. So this is an invitation for you to get romantic with your creation, with yourself, with your creative endeavors, with your what you're wanting to pursue as an entrepreneur or what you're wanting to do with your family. Like maybe it's a date. Maybe you need to have a date night with your man or your woman. Um, all of those sorts of things. I think romance is so lost right now, and there's so many of us out here who are hopeless romantics. But we fucking can't stand because the dudes can't remember our favorite ice cream or our favorite coffee or our flowers or whatever. Like, I just had conversation with a friend about this recently, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with men? What the fuck is wrong with men? And this isn't just at men, it's just because I'm a woman and I'm single. Okay, but you may be a dude watching this video and saying the same about women. And I have no doubt that women do the same thing to men. You don't know what their favorite socks are, or their favorite coffee, or their favorite, I don't know, whatever men like. I don't know. Cologne, maybe their favorite types of belts or so. I don't know. But I'm just throwing things out there. But for women, it's like, flowers, coffee, ice cream, maybe it's their favorite burger after a workout or something like that. It's those little things. What's their favorite like bath scent? Um, or maybe they like particular, like Lush. Maybe they like Lush stuff. I know I do. I miss using Lush items. I freaking love Lush. Their products are amazing. Their bath bombs, their bubble bars, their lotion bars. I love Lush. I don't have the greatest bathtub right now, so I haven't been able to appreciate those sorts of things. But anyway, my point is that this isn't just this is as much about each of us needs to be more romantic with each other, not in like a spice, I mean, maybe spice it up in the bedroom, but you know what I mean? Like more romantic, kind, generous, hold the door for each other. And this could be whether you're a man or a woman. You don't have to be a dude to hold the door open for an elderly person coming into the restaurant with a freaking walker. You can just be a nice person, right? So, but also, this is as much about each of us being more romantic, which really we shouldn't even have to call it romance. It's just courtesy stuff, in my opinion. But it's as much about that as being romantic with yourself, being kind to yourself, being respectful to yourself, running yourself a bath, fixing yourself your favorite coffee or tea or hot cocoa or whatever, having your favorite ice cream, having your favorite burger or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a romantic thing. And we have all gotten derailed in thinking like self-care is mani-pedis and luxurious resorts and green juice and shit like that. And I'm not saying that stuff isn't good and it's not fun and all of that, because I mean, I go get my pedis. I love my pedis, right? And I definitely don't mind a good green juice occasionally. Occasionally, not like a huge fan of green juice, but made the right way, it's actually good. But it's as much about that as it is, you know, treating yourself kindly from the minute that you wake up in the morning. Stop with the self-deprecating talk. That's bullshit. You need to stop it. We're all here for a reason. We've all made it this far for a fucking reason. There's a reason you're still here. Think of how many people have been taken out or chosen to leave the planet in the last year, 5 years. There are people who didn't want to be here for this part because this is the fun part, but this is also the challenging as fuck part. You're still here. That means that your service to this planet is not complete. So, all right, I'm off my soapbox now. I hope that was helpful. Happy weekend, and I'll talk to you guys next time.